For the beginning of Black History Month, let's highlight the classic slave narratives pulled together by Henry Louis Gates Jr. And you might not know it, but before and after the Civil War, there were over 100 narratives published by formerly enslaved people that gave us insights about what life was like then. And Henry Louis Gates Jr., who is an academic in this world, selected 4 of the most insightful that you can learn from. And there is a lot to learn from these. I've spent my life reading about the darkness of what humans do to each other, and I've read a lot about the institution of slavery in the U.S. And yet still, when I read these years ago, they have never left me. It's a really powerful insight into how awful it was, especially for women. And so the first one is the life of Oluwadaya Iquanio. And he was the first person we know of to publish a narrative, and it has a lot of hard stuff in it. It's also a rip-rollicking adventure. He did a lot of fascinating things in his life, and so it's a fascinating read. And same with Frederick Douglass. You know, he published 3 autobiographies altogether because he was such a giant of a guy that it almost doesn't seem like it was enough to just have 3 of them. My father loves Frederick Douglass, so I grew up hearing about him my entire life. But then there's the history of Mary Prince, as well as incidents in the life of a slave girl. I have another copy of that here by Harriet Jacobs. And they really get into the heart of what made this so terrible and degrading for everybody involved. Of course, for the people who were being enslaved, but Frederick Douglass always pointed out that this was so morally degrading for the people who owned the enslaved people, because they were in this system that you must know in your heart of hearts is so wrong, but you're constantly doing it, and then going to church on Sundays, and that this rots at the person and at the society itself. And so this is one of the most important things I think you can read during Black History Month. And if you have other suggestions for historical things to read, please let us know in the comments. Me and everyone else reading would be very happy to know of them. And I just want to say my salutes to these people who were able to share their stories and help us learn today.